this fine day. Let me clean this lens for a second. So, hope you guys are doing good. My name is RODGON. I am an artist. I'm a designer. I'm a teacher. I'm a cartoonist, illustrator, and all that stuff. How are you guys doing today? Let's zoom in more. I just wanted to hop on here and draw for a little bit. I'm doing my laundry. And I wanted to show you guys a little tip and trick that I know when it comes down to drawing heads. When you're drawing a head in general, right, a lot of the times we are always thinking of drawing the whole entirety of our shape and getting those perfect placement for things, right? A lot of the theories like the Loomis method and stuff like that give us a lot of understanding about how to find those concepts and then being able to dissect those into smaller parts. But what if I told you it didn't have to be so complicated? What if I told you if you just split a shape that has a flat bottom and a round top, and you just drew two circles inside of these sections that are equally sized? You could draw the same concept, just a lot easier. So being able to draw a human skull is not necessarily the most complicated thing. It's more about just understanding the couple shapes that are moved in space. Now, if you can find the side of a shape like a circle, that's going to be really cool, right? But sometimes that's really hard to come by in understanding it. So what if you split this in four? And you only use these two sections to come up with the bottom part of your jaw structure. See how easy it was to just come up with a different shape? Being able to understand different parts of your body in a very slightly different way can help you understand them completely, instead of just kind of guessing and kind of going through the motions of thinking you know something instead of really understanding. Being able to draw something like the human skull, it's an invaluable skill. It can be used from anything from comic book characters to cartoons to comics, animation, storyboarding, visual development, fashion design, and everything in between. So, knowing that little tip and trick, it makes it really easy to think of the proportions of the head and not be intimidated by them. Being able to do that and then later on connect other parts like your body and your rib cage and your collarbone and all that stuff doesn't have to be overly complicated. It just has to be explained in a way that makes sense to you. And oftentimes I have been told I do a fantastic job of doing so. So if you guys go to my other videos, you will probably learn a thing or two when it comes down to drawing. Because it's not as complicated as we make it out to be. Now, some good, fun announcements. I am going to be at Lightbox Expo. I applied to be a person that exhibits, but I didn't get that. I also asked them that if they ever need some demos to be done, I will be more than happy to hop on there and teach people something. But if not, I will just be going as an attendee. I'm just gonna go as an attendee, and I'm gonna be one of you guys, just chilling, hanging out, drawing, watching seminars, looking at how many people I can inspire by just chilling there and sitting there and drawing with you guys like I have the last couple of years. I love engaging with everyone that I meet. I love drawing for you guys because I can do really fun drawings really quickly. So I like to just sit there and draw things on Post-its and stuff like that for you. And normally whenever anybody recognizes me, oh, sorry about the noise, it's my laundry. I feel like I overthink my drawings and my process. How do I go about removing overthinking? What are you overthinking about? I'll ask you that first. I mean, fair enough question, right? I need to know a little bit about what you overthink about in order to be able to help you. So, what do you normally overthink about? Hey, how long will I be live today? I'm going to be live for like an hour. but I might go on to TikTok in a little bit just so I can play music. I have to do laundry, so I'm just gonna be sitting here and drawing for a little bit. I also got my next assignment from Marvel. So I got my next assignment from Marvel. So now I get to draw not the Hulk, but I get to draw Bruce Banner. So I get to not draw like the Hulk in general, not the big hulky one. Aww. But that would be pretty cool too. But I get to draw the feeble Bruce Banner. That, and I have to draw him in a chibi mode. So I have to figure out a way to make Bruce Banner look really cool and appealing. I feel like I overthink my drawing process. Well, no, you're not answering the question, so I'm just gonna move on from you. If you don't want to engage, I'm not gonna give you an answer. It's that simple. If you ask a question, either respond or don't ask the question in the first place. Draw yourself. I draw myself all the time. Just drew myself right now. Ta-da! That's me. I feel like I draw too many shapes when I construct. I feel like I overthink where places go in the body. Okay. All right. So instead of doing all that shit that you feel like is really hard, go back to scratch. Go back to drawing a simple character that has simple legs and simple arms. Okay? Once you have this, and you're able to do something with this, let's say that you want a character like that, but you want to tell a story, right? You can make something like that incredibly dynamic. You don't have to be incredibly difficult to be able to tell a story, okay? This is who I like to call Mr. Globy. Mr. Globy teaches you how to create a character that's round. Mr. Globy is literally just a happy face with legs. But it teaches you perspective, it teaches you how to give something a little bit more energy, it teaches you the placement of your arms, and it teaches you how to rotate a head. So this is a fantastic exercise that you guys can do on your own whenever you guys have time to actually do it. If you add a little hat, it adds another layer of complexity. Why? Because this shape in general will later on go on to become a human body. And the hat that you draw on top is the spacing that you need for your head. So if you draw Mr. Globy with a hat, you have the ability to draw bodies later on. So if you have a problem over complicating everything, go back to normal shapes, basic shapes, and see what you can produce with that. If you can't move this level of characters around, then it's gonna be really hard or almost near impossible to be able to do it at a higher level. If you can't move them at a simple level like this, going from step 0 to step 100 is not gonna make it easier on you. You're just gonna make it incredibly harder, and you're gonna get frustrated, and you're eventually gonna quit. So what you need to do is you need to move back to normal, basic little characters that you can understand and learn from, master these at this level, and then move on to something more complex as you get better at drawing things like anatomy and perspective. As you start getting better, you'll understand how to overlap shapes, and little by little, the ability to draw different things like weapons and scenes and stuff like that just become incredibly simple. It's gonna be more about you figuring out what you want to create with those steps than it is gonna be about how hard it is to create. So it's gonna come down to the storytelling aspect of your drawings as opposed to the art. The art's gonna be good. But the storytelling is the really hard part, honestly. Coming up with anything original nowadays is incredibly hard. So let me go put my sheets and my clothing in the dryer, and I'll be right back. Come on, Lucy. Who's a little stinky little puppy? Who's a little stinky little puppy? Who peed on the couch this morning? Who made a big hole of poop? In your couch. Yeah, you're stinky. No, stop eating my sock. Stop it. Where's Mr. Bunny? Where's your bunny? I don't know what bunny is. It's right there, dude. Go ahead. Go grab the bunny. You want to? Okay, so I'm back. Did I lose absolutely everybody? Oh, wait, we didn't lose anybody. That's kind of cool. All right, so you can't cheat. Basically, you have to be honest. Well, the thing is, you can try. You can try to cheat your way through art. You can try to copy other people's styles, and you can try to replicate what they know, but you're gonna only get a fraction of their ability, right? You're gonna get a fraction, whatever they allow you to actually copy. You don't see a lot of what happens behind what we think. If I'm drawing a character, I'm not showing you guys exactly what I'm thinking. I'm thinking at 10, 16 steps, like a little bit in detail more than I'm actually showing you. And as a matter of, it's just a lot harder to understand and explain how to divide something into a many sections part instead of just going, okay, cool, make a box. Circle, circle, teardrop. Circle at the edge, and you have your skull. I could give you guys all the little minuscule little tiny fragments of the human and tell you everything, how everything connects, and that comes in time. Understanding all the little tiny things, divots, and the little tiny crevices, and the little tiny dents, all that takes time to develop. It's not going to be something that can be taught in one afternoon, and it's not going to be something that just comes automatically to be. The thing is, the human body is an incredibly difficult and complex shape. Everything from even just a single finger is incredibly complex and annoying to draw. Okay? So drawing things like this, like fingers, like appendages, it requires a lot of time and practice, and you have to actually constantly practice these things. Otherwise, we never really develop the eye for that. And if we never really develop that eye for it, it's going to be really hard for us to be creative when it comes down to hand precisions and elements like that. It's going to be incredibly difficult. So you can copy other people's styles and generate a lot of buzz for yourself. But at the end of the day, when somebody comes to you for your originality and your concept work, you're not going to be able to develop because you're not going to have that knowledge. And it's going to lead you to looking bad in front of your peers, which is, in one way or another, sometimes even worse than not having a career itself. So it's just something you have to be mindful as you go about your career, you know? When you borrow power, when in this case you're borrowing skill from other people by copying their work, you're never gonna really have that sense of gratification as well. Question, in what order should we learn anatomy? For example, should I learn portions first and then detail? Okay, so anatomy is misunderstood a lot. Anatomy is misunderstood quite a bit. You don't need to understand how to draw every muscle fiber. You don't need to know how to draw every single dent and every single muscle and body part in the single section like this. You don't need to do that. It's really good if you do, But doing so is always going to lead you to a very complex and a very difficult to move character around, a lot of the times leading to very stiff character designs. So when you actually just draw based on detail, it makes it really hard to be able to put your own spin on it, unless you are really, really good and familiar with anatomy. If you're familiar with anatomy, that's not gonna impede you at all. Okay, if you grasp it immediately, that's not gonna hurt you. It's gonna actually just move you up forward. But very few people understand anatomy to that extent. So when it comes down to drawing the human body, you need to understand some landmark points. For example, the rib cage and the body in itself is complicated to see, but the rib cage itself is kind of like an egg. The hip bones are two circles that come at an angle and they connect with your spine. So this kind of looks like an egg and an arrow. So the egg has a little circle at the top for your collarbone. That turns into a little compass, and you can use that to generate your neck and the head space. So this is about the same width as your neck is gonna be. You can decide to make a head bigger than that if you wanted to, but in general, it's gonna be around that size. From there, connect this. You get your midsection, which is your belly space, your love handles. And then this circle gives you access to drawing cylinders to be able to draw things like legs. So being a circle, it gives you access to drawing things and foreshortening as well. By drawing something bigger, smaller, you can make things come forward or go away from you. You didn't really know what you were doing it, but what? What are you saying? Don't get so confused that you can't tell what. What are you saying? Huh, interesting. Bro, to the neck, it's. What? Dude, please stop spamming the chat. Please. I'm gonna ask you once. That's the only time I'm gonna ask. You're disrupting. Thanks. It's not funny to me. People that are just disruptive and they just think that they can take over the chat and not let anybody else have any input, they're annoying. Don't be that person. Stop doing it. Jesus Christ, people are entitled. He keeps doing it. Just be quiet, dude. You've said enough. Anyways, I have about an hour to kill, so I'm gonna hop over to TikTok now. Yeah, you guys can thank him for throwing off the vibe. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.